You know, your brain is an incredible machine. It's designed to save energy, and to do that, it takes all these little mental shortcuts. But here's the problem. Sometimes those shortcuts lead us completely off the path. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful and, well, sneaky of them all. It's a glitch in our thinking that makes us fear sharks way more than falling airplane parts.
All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty weird comparison. We're going to look at two very different ways to die.
So, I want you to take a quick guess. Seriously, don't think too hard about it. Just go with your gut. What does your brain immediately tell you is the bigger threat here? Okay, so on one side you have that heart-pounding, classic movie image of a shark attack, right? And on the other, you have the almost cartoonish idea of getting bonked on the head by a piece of a plane falling out of the sky. One feels like this primal, deep-seated fear. The other just sounds like a statistical joke.
But your gut is wrong. Statistically, believe it or not, you are more likely to be killed by a falling airplane part. The reason we get this so wrong is because when shark attacks happen, they're dramatic, they're bloody, and they're all over the news. They are easily available in our memory. Deaths from falling plane parts? Yeah, not so much.
Now, this mistake in judgment, it isn't just a random fluke. It's a predictable glitch in our mental software, and it actually has a name, the availability heuristic. This is the exact shortcut your brain took when it probably screamed shark a minute ago.
So what is it, officially? It's basically this. Our brain works on the assumption that if we can think of examples of something really easily, then that thing must be common or important or likely to happen. It's a shortcut that picks ease of recall over actual facts.
And this quote just nails the logic, right? Your brain essentially equates how fast and smooth a memory comes back with how important or frequent that thing is. If it's easy to remember, it must be true, or at least really likely. It's a powerful and, as we're seeing, often very misleading assumption.
Now, this isn't some pop psychology theory somebody just made up. This concept comes from the absolutely groundbreaking work of two psychologists, Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, back in the 1970s. Their research into these mental shortcuts or heuristics completely changed how we think about human decision-making and even won them a Nobel Prize.
So, how did they actually prove this was a real thing? Well, it wasn't just with thought experiments like our shark question. They designed these really clever, controlled studies that caught the bias right in the act. Let's look at one of their most famous ones.
Okay, try this one yourself. Real quick, think of words that start with the letter K. Go. Pretty easy, right? Kite, kitchen, king, key. Now, try to think of words where K is the third letter. A little harder, huh? Like ask, bake, acknowledge. For most of us, it's way easier to come up with words starting with K.
But here's the twist. In the English language, there are actually about twice as many words with K as the third letter than as the first. We get it wrong because our brain's dictionary is organized like a real one, by the first letter. It's super easy to mentally flip to the K section, but it's a huge pain to scan every single word to see if it has a K in the third spot. The ease of the first search tricks us.
But wait, the story doesn't stop there. Because later, researchers added this fascinating, really crucial update to the whole idea. They figured out it's not just about what you remember, but how it feels to remember it.
This is the key insight from a researcher named Norbert Schwartz. It turns out that the feeling of ease, or the feeling of struggle when you're trying to recall something, is a piece of information all on its own. That struggle sends a powerful signal to your brain that ends up shaping your final judgment.
And here is the brilliant experiment that proved it. Researchers split people into two groups. Group A got an easy task, list just 6 times you acted assertively. Group B got a much harder task, list 12 times. Then they asked everyone to rate how assertive they thought they were. So who do you think rated themselves higher? The group that listed more examples, right? Seems obvious.
Incredibly, it was the exact opposite. The people who only had to list 6 easy examples rated themselves as more assertive. The group that was struggling to come up with 12 examples, well, their brain went, wow, this is really hard. I guess I'm not that assertive after all. The difficulty of the task itself was mistaken for a fact about their personality. Amazing, right?
So, okay, this isn't just some fun psychological party trick. This bias has these huge and often totally invisible effects on how we see the world, how we spend our money, and even our relationships.
Let's circle back to the sharks for a second. The media is constantly feeding us a diet of vivid, dramatic, unusual events,
Because, well, that's what's newsworthy. This makes things like homicides and plane crashes highly available in our minds, and we end up totally overestimating how often they happen compared to more common but less flashy risks, like heart disease or car accidents. It's the availability heuristic on steroids, thanks to the 24-hour news cycle.
And this plays out big time in the world of finance. After the huge market crash in 2008, the memory of that trauma was painfully easy for everyone to recall. And look at this survey from Franklin Templeton. For years after the crash, a huge number of investors were still convinced the market was doing terribly, even when it was posting massive gains. Their decisions were being driven by the ghosts of that easily recalled memory, not the actual reality of the present.
And this bias gets super personal. It can sneak in and influence how you evaluate your coworkers, your boss, or even how you feel about your own performance at work. Check out this study. They asked students for feedback on a course. Group 1 got an easy job. List 2 things that could be improved. Group 2 got a really hard job. List 10 improvements. Afterwards, they both rated the course overall. So based on what we just learned about assertiveness, which group do you think gave the course a higher rating?
You got it. The students who were forced to struggle to find 10 negative things ended up giving the course a better rating. As they were straining their brains to think of that 8th, 9th, and 10th problem, their minds concluded, man, if it's this hard to find faults, this must actually be a pretty good course. The difficulty of the recall totally flipped their final judgment.
So, here's the crucial point. The thing to take away from all this. Our feelings about the world, our big beliefs, they're shaped not just by facts, but by this flawed, biased mental filing system we all use. So the next time you feel absolutely certain about something, an issue, a person, a financial decision, just pause and ask yourself, is this belief based on all the evidence, or is it just based on the first thing that popped into my head? The answer might really surprise you.